Hello, folks. This is a Grappler right here at Title Match Network. Let me tell you something. You're going to be seeing a lot of me. And you know what? We're going to bring all kinds of stories to you. But if you got any questions, subscribe here. We'll bring you the answers and tell you every story you want to hear. And believe me, when I get through telling you, you will say the greatest story ever told on Title Match Network is from the Grappler. Beat that if you can. Okay, I left here and I was 17. Hadn't turned quite 18 yet. I graduated early in high school, and so now I'm headed to go to Amarillo, Texas. Okay, and I get there the first match we were on. It was another guy named Gary Young. That's a wrestler that wrestled for a while. We trained together, and so me and Gary looked like, he was a big stud athlete. He'd already matured. I hadn't quite got there yet. And we both just graduated from high school. So we get to the TV show, which started, I think you had to be there like at 9 o'clock in the morning. And they'd do like 2 tapes. And so all the wrestlers were in the dressing room. We get there. And this is our first show ever in Amarillo, Texas to tape TV. And Dory Funk was there. He was the world champion at the time. Terry Funk was there. All these guys. You had, I think it was Swede, Hanson, Abdullah the Butcher. You had, what was the other guy? Anyway, everyone in the dressing room was huge. Now, I was 5'10", I weighed 89 pounds. And so they looked at me and they said, he's not going on our TV, he's too small. And so, but they let Gary go on TV. He wrestled Abdullah the Butcher. And he wished he wouldn't have went on TV because he left. There was blood everywhere. I'll just put it that way. But because Abdullah just had fun with that boy, a rookie, his first match. And then they fired me. They said, we're going to give you the booker. The guy who ran the place was named Art Nelson, the booker for the Funks at the time. They fired me and said, you're too small. We can't use you in this territory. This is a big man's business. And so, but I'm going to give you a week worth of bookings, so you can earn some money to get home on. And so that's what was my introduction to wrestling in Amarillo. And then before I left there, I even blowed the motor in my car, hauling Abdullah to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And so I just that was my first introduction to pro wrestling. That's how that started.
And Abdullah the Butcher, can you tell us a little bit about, so he carved up kind of Gary Young in the match?
Here's the thing, when we were trained, okay, everybody knows the old thing nowadays. I ain't telling nobody something they ain't never heard about getting juice, right, with the blade and all that. So here we are, and we're in a dressing room. Now, we were taught from the guy trained us, which is the right way, never let nobody else do that. You do it yourself. And he taught us how to do it. And so I'm sitting there, I don't have a match, I just get fired. Feeling like a piece of shit. And then, so Gary comes over and goes, I said, Gary, who you got? He goes, Abdullah. I went, you gotta be shitting me. He goes, no. I go, what are y'all doing? He goes, in about 2 minutes, he's gonna use the fork, I go, okay. I said, you getting, he said, yeah, he's gonna get color on me, gonna get G. I said, did you make up your thing? He goes, he's going to do it. I go, well, you crazy? I said, Gary, look over there at him. Look at his head. Do you think he gives a shit about you? Oh, my God. Don't. He goes, but he let him, right? Went out there, and I swear to you, he went from ear to ear. They had to go get him sewed up. Oh, yeah, I took him. So, yeah, it was. They would introduce those rookies real early to professional wrestling. They didn't really care. It was a little rougher sometimes back then, but that's what happened.
What a brutal introduction. But
oh, yeah.
I think I heard you mention that Abdullah actually gave you some good advice earlier.
Yeah, I said I got my notice there. I got fired, and so I was all down. Then I seriously did. They asked me, said, you drive Abdullah. You're booked in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You drive him to Albuquerque. So he laid in the back seat, and I drove him. But on the way back, he sat up front with me, and I did blew the motor in my car. And we were barely just chugging, trying to get back. And so he was shaking his head because he knew the whole story. I told him the whole story. I'm trying to make it wrestling. Came here, I got fired. He goes, well, look, kid, when I went to drop him off, he told me this right here. He goes, here's what I want you to do. He said, take a piece of paper, and write a letter to Dory Funk Jr. Okay, he owns this son of a bitch, not Art Nelson, the guy that fired you. Okay? He said, you write a letter and you thank him for even giving you a chance here. And if anything ever comes up, put your phone number and tell him, please call me. I really want to be in pro wrestling. And so he said, and seal it. Don't let Art open it and tear it and throw it away or something. So I ended up getting it to him, and then I left and I went by Sputnik Monroe's house, and he said he would get me booked, and he never could get me booked. He tried, but because I was waiting on my motor to be fixed, which I had to borrow $800 from my dad. Back then, you can imagine that. Okay, what a career in wrestling. He said, you're already a minus $800, and now you have one or two matches. And so finally, they said, okay, your car's ready. I got my car and I drove. And we didn't have cell phones back then or nothing, so you didn't get all the messages, everything that's going on. But I called to tell my dad that the car's working, everything's great. I promise you I'll pay you back. I'll get a job if I have to, and I'm fixing to leave to head home to Houston. And he goes like this, hurry up and get your ass home because Dory Funk Jr. called and you're booked for Bill Watts in 2 weeks. That letter right there did that. Abdullah gave me that advice. And I went to Bill Watts, and because he was hiring anybody at the time, and I started learning the trade, and I got bigger, and then I went to Florida from there, and it went on and on. Hey folks, this is the Grappler from Title Match Network. Subscribe right here and beat us if you can.